today we're going to actually be going over questioning. I'm Mackenzie, this is Kara. We're doing Zoom because we're all in quarantine. Okay.
So why questioning? Questioning is a master key in understanding different texts, different things that are going on, and it helps us propel us forward to understanding different things, making us keep digging deeper in situations that we want to know about. And it takes us deeper in the reading. It brings up puzzle drive, which allows us to build different puzzles based off what we learned. So if I was reading about dogs, maybe I want to learn more about dogs and how dogs react or how dogs do certain things. What to do, you could use a little sticky note and you could place it on any spot that you're confused on. Or you could list out the questions that you have and denote the ones that are answered within the text with an A. It makes you wonder about what's going on, so you can make wonder books out of a journal, right? I wonder what would happen if, or I wonder what would happen if I did this. And then you could, once you read the text, you can use what you learned from the text and now what you learned from, and what you wonder from after learning. So an example would be Where the Wild Things Are. After reading the book, I was I wonder why Max became the king, or how he got in trouble, or why he got in trouble, what different wild things there are. And as you can see, I denoted an A next to it because those were the ones that were answered in the book. So I learned that Max got in trouble because he was misbehaving. And now, after learning that, I wonder what might have happened if he wasn't misbehaving. I learned Max was gone for almost over a year, and I was wondering how his mother was feeling during that time. I wonder why the wild things are because they're always misbehaving, and do they see themselves as they're wild? What else have we learned, and what do you guys wonder about Where the Wild Things Are? Anything, if you guys know the book.
Does anyone wonder anything about the book?
Me.
Do you know the book?
No.
Okay, they don't know the book.
I've seen the book, I just
Well,
didn't
basically, it's about a young boy who got in trouble by his mom because he was misbehaving, chasing the dog around with a fork, and just not listening to her commands. So she sent him off to bed without dinner and called him a wild thing. And then when he walks into his room, he becomes very imaginative, and a forest starts growing in his room. And then he finds a sailboat, and he takes the sailboat into a alternate world of his imagination. He starts meeting all these different monsters and wild things. And at first they were very vicious and scary, but then they started praising him because he was I'm the most wildest of them all. So then he spent some time with them. It took years, weeks, spending time with them, and then he was oh man, I should really get back home. I don't belong here. And then when he started sailing back home, he found a bowl of food on the table next to his bed, and so his mom fed him in the end. It's a very illustrative book. I wish I would be able to show you, but I don't have the book since, but that's what I have. So now it's your turn.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at Star Wars, The Adventure of Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight. So when I'm looking at this cover, I'm thinking to myself, why Star Wars? Where is it going to talk about this galaxy? Is it going to talk about just the night sky? Is it going to talk about planets? And what is a Jedi Knight? Who is Luke Skywalker? Why does it make him a Jedi Knight? Those are my questions that I have just by looking at the cover. You can have many questions as you go through the book, but that's my first one I have just by looking at the cover. So as I go through the book, I'm seeing, oh, it's talking about the actual galaxy. So that's one of my questions that I had. What is Star Wars? It's talking about fighting in the outer space. So that's one of my questions that had already been answered just by looking at the book. As I go on, I'm trying to take in more of what I see around to answer my questions. Maybe I'm asking myself some more questions, like who is he? And then you read the text and it gives you his name. So you can really see either by pictures or by words. It's really just whatever, when you read, what pops into your mind, what are you wondering while you read? What are some questions you have? So now it's time for you guys to try. Here's 2 books. You guys can look over.
It's an M Mac and a Z Mac.
What are some questions just by looking at the cover that you already have? Please raise your hands.
Hi, Bree. You already know everything about this.
What are some questions that you have?
Why is the imp so miniature?
Okay, so why is he so small? That's a good question. Anything else?
Why in the book is there iron butts? Or why is there a wind up on the back of the map?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Why is it like a wind-up toy?
Do these 2 always fight?
I don't know. You'd have to look
That's
into
what I
the
wonder.
book. That's your
Why do
question.
those 2 fight?
Okay. Do you have any?
On dinosaurs. I wonder if it kind of gives a brief description of each one and a timeline on it.
Okay. So let's open our books that we have. And are there any questions of yours that have already been answered?
The imps are small because so they can get in the Max, and the Z Max are a wind up toy to handle their handle their core and their butt, and the butt is destroyed, then the entire core explodes, and they call it down with a telephone line because the spaceship, because it's a giant spaceship in the universe, and then it goes down.
Okay. So that's your question that you had. You had what is it and why does it have this? So when you read it, you could have added like a little note next to maybe your sticky note you had, and letting your question know that it's already been answered. Or there may be some questions that you have at the end of the book that haven't been answered, and that's okay. We're always questioning what we're reading.
And on mine, no, it doesn't give a timeline. What it does is the alphabet. Through the alphabet, it tells you each one is for what the animal is. So my question was unanswered. Well, it was answered.
Just in a different way.
Wait, correct.
So both had your books get questions answered, but are there any in there that you didn't get answered that you want to still know? No?
No, because it tells the height of them
Okay.
compared to man.
Like you mentioned that the timeline, maybe you could find another dinosaur book that has the timeline talked about. So our covers and our titles can really give us an insight into the book that we're looking at. So like even when you want to go to the library and you want to pick a new book, you can look at the cover and say, oh, this looks like something I may like. But you also have to question to yourself, what does it mean? What's the meaning in it? That's how we're able to really comprehend what we're reading, is because we're always asking questions. If we're asking questions of ourselves when we're reading, we're active reading. That's when we're constantly thinking and not just looking at pictures in the book. We're reading, we're asking questions, we're always thinking. That's how we are able to understand the book, because by the time when we get to the end, our questions that we may have had have been answered, so we're understanding what's happening in the book.
So you would apply this skill like before, during, or after you read. When you want to learn more about something that you already know. So maybe you knew about the dinosaurs, but you didn't know what height they were or like how long they were. So you kind of wanted to know more, and you had that question in your mind. You could use it to clarify confusion. Maybe you don't really understand what's going on. So you write a question or you stick a sticky note, and you could go back to it and clear up the thoughts. It builds deeper thinking. It makes you actively reading, and it could start discussions. And that's it. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was our time?
What?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.